Hey guys, it's Andrea, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be doing my March bullet journal setup. I honestly had the hardest time choosing a theme for this month. I was torn between doing some abstract waves kind of theme or something with lo-fi aesthetic desk drawings. I don't really know how to describe it. And I ended up doing none of those. So here I am making some flowery field kind of theme, but I actually really like the colors and how it turned out in the end. I also feel like it has been a while since I last did a theme that required lots of drawing, and honestly it was really relaxing to just spend time playing around with the colors and all of the different layers of the flowers, as well as the different arrangements and layouts. It was pretty different from my last favorite theme, which was a collage one, so I really enjoyed making this one. So basically what I'm doing right now is I just chose some different shades of the same color to draw the flowers and leaves, and it's a really simple drawing, but just adding the darker bits of color adds a lot of depth to the drawing, and I really like how it looks. I finished drawing the leaves and the flowers, I felt like it looked a little bit empty, so I decided to take this light mint Tombow and just fill in the background. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just lettering the word March with my black Tombow. And if you're interested in learning about more of the basics of lettering and how I do my lettering, I recently made a video on that. I'll leave it linked in the tab so you can check it out. So now I'm just using this Finta Coliro watercolor pen in order to add a bit of a frame to just make the design stand out a little more. And I feel like I've had these metallic watercolors forever, but I've never used them. So it's really nice to finally do something with them. And now I'm just setting a small hollow drop shadow. I don't really know how to call it, but I think it makes sense to call it like that. Next, I'm working on my quote page, and the quote that I chose is "You're closer than you were yesterday." This is as I'm still preparing for my university entrance exam, which has been moved. So I still want to stay motivated, and I think that this quote is really fitting for the situation. And surprisingly for this, I decided to use another kind of font that isn't the traditional lettering that I do pretty much in every single spread that I make. But I'm still using the same technique as with the lettering, which is basically making your downstrokes wider and your upstrokes thinner. But I really like how it turned out. So what I did next was just to add some washi tape on the corner of the pages, and also I decided to outline the lettering to make it stand out a little bit more. I then felt like the page looked a little bit empty, so I decided to just add some of the same flowers that I made for the cover page in different spaces of the page. Then I used the same gold watercolor just to add some dots. If you've watched my previous videos, then you know that every time that I feel like there is some blank space that looks boring or something, I don't know, I just start adding dots all over the page, and I usually add some gray dots using my gray mild liner, but I thought it would be nice to change it up a little bit and use the gold watercolor. And finally, I'm adding this sort of hollow drop shadow again to the letters on this page. And the next spread that I'll be making is my monthly spread. I feel like last year I didn't used to use this spread as much, but now I just find it so useful to lay down all of my future events and deadlines with online school, and it's really one of my favorite spreads to set up and just play around with the boxes. So after I finished making the layout, I just used some of the same colors in the color palette that I'm using for the whole theme to add some colors to the headers. And then I used those same colors just to draw some small circles where I'll be writing the dates. And finally, I used my 50 micron fine liner in the size graphic one just to write the different dates and the dates of the month. On the bottom of the page, I just lettered the word March, and on top of that, I started making another drawing of the same flower field as in the cover page. Once again, the process is the same as in the cover page. I use some lighter colors as the base and then just start layering up with some darker colors on top just to add some depth to the flowers. And I also decided to do the same golden frame thing with this one. And finally, for this spread, I just added the same drop shadow again and used some washi tapes. And the next spreads that I'll be making are my trackers. I make both a habit tracker and a productivity tracker. And also, I know that it seems that I'm doing this at a very random order, like I start with one part of the spread and then move on to a completely different one, but it's just so that the markers can dry and it's easier for me to do the layering. the spread on the left is my habit tracker and the one on the right is a productivity tracker. And as I'm tracking 6 habits this month, as I usually do, I made just these tiny calendars, but on the other side I decided to try a different layout and I just made circles for each day of the month. So I just continued working on the flowers and then I made the color key for my productivity tracker. And I know it sounds kind of weird to do a productivity tracker. I found it on Instagram once and decided to try it. But it has actually really helped me stay motivated to be sometimes productive, even though it's not always possible. But it's still fun to see how it turned out at the end of the month. And finally, I just added the headers on top, and these are all of my March spreads. I actually had a lot of fun making this theme and just playing around with the different colors and textures of the flowers. I really hope that you liked it too, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. And see you next time. Bye!